What's up, guys? We're going to be responding to a video this time by Hunter Avallone. He's pretty much your standard reactionary anti-SJW conservative channel on YouTube that's super popular. And like most reactionary anti-SJW conservatives, Pride Month is something that he really seems to have a problem with. So let's see what it is.
Gay Pride Month has been a thing for quite a while, but as our country progresses and more Americans view gay marriage as legally valid, it's become painfully obvious that Pride Month is no longer being used for good. So my friends, I present to you the problem with Pride Month. Problem number 1. Your sexuality does not define you.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. Your sexuality isn't something that should be what defines you. Could you maybe tell that to the Bible? Because it clearly defined homosexuality as an abomination 2,000 years ago that led to people treating gay people horribly and defining them as people who are sick and perverted.
There are many things to take pride in, but your sexuality is simply not one of them.
But don't you think that living in a society that is constantly against you, that wants to shock you out of existence, that tells you that you are sick and that you shouldn't be who you are, and then persevering through all that to finally become yourself and be accepting of who you are is maybe something to be at least a little proud of?
Now don't get me wrong, I support gay people's right to marry, and I am by no means opposed to gay people. I am, however, opposed to this overarching narrative that being gay is somehow a personality. Being gay does not make you special, and frankly, I don't think being gay deserves a month of celebration. Sure, dedicating a month to raising awareness of LGBT issues is one thing, but it's the over-the-top celebratory aspect that is simply not needed.
So he just kind of contradicted himself there. On one hand, he says that LGBT people shouldn't have a month of celebration, but then like 2 seconds later, he says he's okay with LGBT people having a month to support their issues. They just can't be happy and celebrate it because you might cause some people mild annoyance.
Let's go ahead and look at the facts. First of all, the majority of Americans support gay marriage based on a Gallup poll conducted last year. According to Pew Research, the acceptance of gay marriage has been steadily increasing and now sits near the highest point, with 61% of Americans supporting gay marriage. Even more so.
So what the hell kind of argument is this? Hey guys, 2/3 of people don't believe interracial marriages should be illegal, therefore there's no need for civil rights anymore. Racism is basically over. Like, what? Just because it's written in law doesn't mean that people magically are more tolerant immediately. Like, hey son, I know I just fucking kicked you out of the house and excised you from the family a year ago, but guess what? Gay marriage is legal now, so it's all good. Does he think that people act like this?
More so, multiple studies have found that for many gay people, genetics play a serious role, and a study published on PubMed.gov found a linkage between DNA markers on the X chromosome and male sexual orientation. This research heavily supports a view held by many Americans, including me, that being gay is not a choice. You are, in fact, born gay.
Okay, so Hunter, you do realize that the study you cited is from 1993, right? That's been out for the last 26 years, yet there's still a huge amount of people who still believe that being gay was a choice, and there are still even to this day. In 1998, 5 years after that study, Christian rights groups spent over $600,000 promoting conversion therapy. Just because the science proves something doesn't mean that society believes it. I mean, for fuck's sakes, there are still people who believe the earth is flat and deny evolution.
So if the majority of Americans support your right to marry who you want, and research supports the fact that gay people are in fact born that way, what exactly is there to celebrate? Being born, existing, and accepted by the majority of Americans? Now don't get me wrong, gay people have been through a lot of oppression and a lot of difficulties, and I don't think there's anything wrong in recognizing this. But I do think Pride Month could be put to better use in raising awareness of actual issues and actual oppression of gay people.
You don't think that people can do both? Like, you think people can't both be activists and fight against oppression and also be proud of themselves and have fun? And even if they aren't going out 24/7 of fighting oppression and just want to have fun, what's the big deal? How are they hurting you in any way?
Again, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but your sexuality is not an accomplishment, and it by no means defines you as a person. I just don't think that being gay warrants this kind of celebration. I think there are better things to celebrate, like your character and actual accomplishments. Why exactly are we celebrating an unchangeable fact about yourself that's widely accepted by the majority of Americans? In my opinion, this seems a lot less like a cry for acceptance and a lot more like a cry for attention.
Again, it's not being gay in and of itself. It's the fact that our society is and has been really oppressive towards these people. There are gay people today who have been kicked out of their homes or have been electroshocked. People who have been scared their whole lives to be who they are and finally have the courage to be themselves in a society that still kind of thinks badly of them. You don't think that that's something to be proud of? That that's like an accomplishment at least a little bit? Oh, and by the way, in principle, I kind of agree with Hunter in the sense that we shouldn't have to have a Pride Month. In an ideal egalitarian society where there is no inherent culture of bigotry and where people are accepting of everyone, there wouldn't really need to be a Pride Month, and gay people wouldn't really need the support for specifically being gay. And that we want to work towards living in that egalitarian society. But the view that Hunter has is that somehow just because 2/3 of Americans don't completely hate them, that somehow we're already close to this egalitarian culture. And that's completely insane.
Problem 2. It brings out the extremists on both sides.
Uh-oh, both sidism alert. I can't wait to see how he's going to equate like Nazi homophobes with mildly flamboyant gay people. Or maybe he'll claim that Antifa is a gay rights organization or something.
A few days ago at the beginning of Pride Month, I made my support for gay people known. It's well known that I'm a conservative, and despite the fact that I've been for the rights of gay and trans people since the beginning of my YouTube career, this came as a shock to many people who were further right than I. I believe that being pro-gay is actually really conservative.
Oh, God, no. What? Yeah, Hunter, sorry, but being pro-gay is not conservative at all. Just considering the fact that the entirety of the right has been tooth and nail against LGBT rights every single step of the way. Also, conservatism is the commitment to conservative values or traditions with opposition to change or innovation. Traditions like black people shouldn't have rights or that women shouldn't be allowed to vote. It was progressives that had to move society forward and change these outdated traditions.
Conservatism is all about a small government, freedom of expression, and conserving the evolving values of the American people. We already know that the majority of Americans are okay with gay marriage. Therefore, it is an evolved American value, and it should be conserved without government interference.
Yeah, who do you think it evolved because? It was because of the thousands of progressives that fought against conservatives to give these people rights. Like, this is such a dumb, like, mental gymnastics. Like, it's accepted, so therefore it should be conserved. But then, like, in order to evolve your views, you need progressives. So what the fuck do we need conservatives for? Progressives are trying to move forward. It's not like they're trying to move back. It seems like conservatives are the ones that are moving back. Because no one, like, the only way, like, no one's trying to go back on their values that we need conservatives to, like, conserve. I don't know.
Plus, freedom of expression is one of the many things that makes this country great. So long as it's a consensual relationship between two adults, I think it's fully within conservative values to support gay people's freedom of expression. I tweeted this opinion out and was greeted by a horde of angry lunatics who would rather have the government devolve the ever-changing American values back to a time where gay marriage was not accepted. I was completely ridiculed by these extremists and told that I was not a real conservative. These extremists do no service to us on the right, and instead they drag down the image of conservatism, which is far more about conserving the government and conserving the ever-changing American values rather than some archaic societal norms. Despite the apparent dogpile on Twitter, I did my best to ignore the screeches of the Amish. Except for this guy. He was just way too good to pass up.
Oh my god, I saw your tweet about being pro-gay is actually conservative. Shut the f*** up, idiot. You're a f***ing moron. You're a f***ing idiot. F*** you. You f***ing piece of shit.
I honestly think this guy needs a safe space, but only if that safe space is a psychiatric ward with mandated anger management classes. I mean, I can't help but almost feel bad for this guy. His virgin frustration is so painfully obvious. But don't worry, pal, I have a few guy friends I might be able to set you up with. These disgusting losers who clearly hate gay people and Pride Month actually give more of a valid reason for there to be a Pride Month.
Whoa, you don't say. It's almost as if a majority of people just recently, only like a decade or two ago, had this opinion, and that there is still a substantial amount of people that still have these opinions. People who are part of the government who enact our laws also still have these opinions. So that kind of validates there to be a Pride Month, right?
Plus, if you want to look at this from a different perspective, this behavior actually harms their own stupid goals. I mean, come on guys. I, along with many, am against this over-the-top gay agenda being pushed on society.
What over-the-top gay agenda? What, gay people just existing in movies and TV shows? How is this an agenda to portray gay people as normal and to show that they exist?
But acting like a drunk, seizing donkey, criticizing me for supporting gay people's rights, and supporting the notion that America should move backwards only strengthens the victim mentality of those you wrongly oppose. You can oppose the intense gay agenda being pushed on our society and our children while also supporting gay people's rights to marry. That's what America is all about. I don't think gay people are oppressed in this country from a legal standpoint.
Well, that's just not true. A majority of states don't have explicit laws prohibiting discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodations. Laws that do extend to race, gender, and nationality, but not to sexuality. And the ones that do seem to be pretty incomplete and don't seem to prevent it in all key concepts. Also, a lot of other things like laws that allow schools to fund groups that discriminate against them, that allow LGBT people to be denied of healthcare treatment based on their sexuality, and a lot more. So there is a substantial amount of legal discrimination happening against LGBT people. And that's not even going to get into like the trans people, just gay people.
But witnessing this seething hatred only reaffirms the idea of gay oppression and actually validates calls for a gay pride month.
He's finally starting to get it. Except, not really, because now he's going to go on about how mildly flamboyant people are somehow just as extreme as the people trying to take their rights away.
So congratulations to the extremists on the right. You've not only managed to make yourselves look like even bigger idiots, but you've actually lended credence to the people you wrongly oppose. But wait, there's more! Because on the opposite side of the spectrum, Pride Month brings out the radical gay people who want to cram their agenda down the throats of everyone, including children. It's quite possible that Pride Month was once a good thing, but it's been completely hijacked by progressive politics and is constantly used as a weapon to attack conservatives, paint gay people as victims, all while ignoring real issues.
But, gay people are victims, though, and conservatives are generally the ones that enact policy that negatively target gay people. You even say that there are real issues out there affecting gay people, so how are gay people not going to be victims?
Why has Pride Month become a cheap celebration of rights you already have and an unchangeable fact about your sexuality? Why has Pride Month been hijacked to push this overreaching and intrusive gay agenda on the impressionable minds of children? Innocent kids should be kept out of any discussions related to sex, both gay and straight.
Again, what gay agenda? They're not showing two dudes fucking, dog. They're just informing kids that gay people exist and that there's nothing wrong with them. If it's not a straight agenda to show straight couples and marriages in Arthur, then why is it a gay agenda to do the same? Now, I know he never mentioned Arthur specifically, but that's the thing that kind of pops into my head when people talk about gay agenda being pushed on kids.
I understand a big part of Pride Month is to raise awareness of the difficulties and the issues gay people have faced and overcome. I understand that it's awful that gay people still need to come out and risk being ostracized by both their friends and family. These are the current issues at hand in America. So let's talk about it. From a global perspective, there is still so much oppression of gay people that really should be addressed. Qatar recently banned homosexuality before Pride Month.
I was waiting for the mention of Islam. I'm actually surprised it took this long. It's been 7 whole minutes. Reactionaries just can't possibly seem to talk about LGBTQ stuff without the mention of Islam.
This is both sick and wrong. But oh, here's a drag queen wearing a tiara drenched in HIV-positive blood. Oh, the statement!
What the fuck do you expect people to do? Go to Qatar themselves? Yeah, dude, we understand that a lot of these Middle Eastern countries hold pretty terrible views, largely due to their terrible socioeconomic statuses, sometimes caused by U.S. foreign intervention completely fucking over these countries. I don't know a single leftist or progressive that's for these regime change wars. Oh yeah, and by the way, just so you know, Muslims are perfectly capable of assimilating and peacefully to Western values as anyone else. This is supported by the fact that Muslims in the U.S. are less homophobic than evangelicals. What are you saying that you can't ever address issues or have fun in the first world because other people have it worse? I can use that same argument for literally anything. Ugh. Why are conservatives complaining about free speech in the U.S. when North Korea would put you in jail for even speaking? You don't see conservatives talking about North Korea 24/7, do you? Oh yeah, and to make another point, I always find it weird how reactionaries never point to the intense Christian homophobic countries in Africa as an example of gay oppression. It's almost as if they're just trying to push anti-Muslim fear-mongering.
Let's use Pride Month to raise awareness of these real issues rather than running around in rainbow suspenders, waving dildos around, and completely distracting from the actual oppression that deserves attention.
Again, people can both be activists and also be happy and celebrate themselves at the same time. Like, I know this is a really, really hard concept for a Hunter to wrap around his head, and he thinks that, like, anytime anyone, like, celebrates themselves, they should be better off, like, going to fucking Middle East and start fighting homophobes or some shit.
Plus, this flamboyant gay behavior, parading around the city half naked, actually does nothing good for anyone, including gay people. First of all, the bizarre actions of these radical gay people do not accurately reflect the attitude of most average, normal gay people. Most gay people, I assume, just want to live a regular life and be treated like everyone else. Yet we have these political mouthpiece radical gays doing just the opposite, acting like being gay is different and unique and worth celebrating to the highest level. Even more so, this flamboyant gay behavior may even worsen the view some Americans hold towards gay people. Although the majority of Americans do support gay marriage, there's still a 31% that do not. Just imagine for a second that you were born in the 50s and you're beginning to come around to the idea of gay marriage. You then look outside and see a bunch of naked men, child drag queens, and a giant penis balloon. This is going to push people away from accepting gay people and instead retaliate by resisting.
So Hunter's philosophy is that if there are terrible people who want to deny you rights because they don't like you or who you are or how you act, that you should just stop acting how you act. Like, this is such a weird narrative. It's almost as if he's trying to shift the blame to the gay people instead of the homophobes. And what the hell is this example anyways? Like, just because there are promiscuous people in a certain group doesn't give that, like, the one person justification to deny them rights. It's like saying, hey, I was just coming around to the idea of straight marriage, but then I logged in on Pornhub and I saw Mia Khalifa getting banged by like 2 guys on a bang bus. Like, what the fuck?
But just like the radical losers on the right, these radical gay people publicly tarnish the view America holds towards gay people, and instead of revealing the truth that being gay is normal and nothing to be ashamed of or feared, they flaunt their sexuality like some kind of perverse sexual deviance.
Well, you know a great way to promote gay people being normal? Representation. Yeah, early on, the only representation gay people had were the overly flamboyant caricatures. And to help get away from that image and for gay people to be viewed as normal just like everyone else, just like what Hunter wants to happen, it's helpful to have them exist and portrayed as normal in media. Like having a perfectly normal wedding that just happens to be with 2 guys in a cartoon, for example.
You also have groups of radical gay people who behave in an almost totalitarian manner. Recently, YouTube was pressured by an angry gay Vox writer to take action against a conservative YouTuber named Steven Crowder. YouTube looked into the reports and responded by informing this angsty journalist that Crowder didn't violate their terms, and just because the content is hosted on their site does not mean it's an endorsement. This sounds okay to me, but this massive journalist was actually trying to use the fact that he was gay to sway YouTube and play the victim in hopes of having a dissenting opinion shut down.
Well, no, he just didn't want to be called homophobic slurs that would empower radical people to harass him and wanted YouTube to take action against Steven.
Despite the fact this Vox writer was fine with physical harassment and even assault towards people he didn't agree with, when he was called out by Crowder, he rolled over and played the victim and claimed harassment because of his sexuality. He, along with his supporters, cried that YouTube would dare show support for Gay Pride Month despite the fact they didn't take action against Crowder. Do you guys realize how radical and entitled this sounds? So now, in order to be pro-gay or even support Pride Month, you have to terminate users who criticize and mock you. YouTube said they don't endorse this language, yet it's still not good enough for this group of radical gay people. This is where, again, everyday average gay people are lost in a sea of radical imbeciles who believe to be pro-gay, you must bow down to every demand of a gay person.
Well, yeah, it seems pretty hypocritical that a company would, on one hand, claim that they support gay people with their woke marketing campaigns, but then be okay with people using homophobic slurs against gay creators. And, like, what is this whole thing about bowing down to totalitarian, like, commands? Like, they're literally just asking you, hey, can you not be hateful towards gay people? Don't try to deny them the same rights as everyone else. Try not to use slurs that historically were used to demean and dehumanize them. Like, that's pretty much all most people are asking for.
Problem 3. Pride Month hurts gay people. Pride Month has been reduced to nothing more than a lame celebration of nothing really special, a bunch of extremists on both sides displaying radical behavior, and corporations shilling for gay people.
No, it's a celebration of overcoming and living in an oppressive society against you. The only extremists are on the right. And while I do agree that woke marketing is pretty disingenuous on the corporation side, promoting LGBT acceptance definitely doesn't hurt. Anyways, the rest of the video is basically just him repeating himself. Yeah, this video is just so pointless. He basically said, hey, I don't see why we have to have a Pride Month, but I actually see why we do because there are a lot of homophobes out there. But the gay people who act flamboyant are just as extreme. And why aren't they being activists even though they are? It's like, I have no idea like the point of the video. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, consider taking 0.2 seconds out of your life to click that like button. It really helps. I just started this channel recently, so consider subscribing for more content. I only have 4 subs at the moment, so I'd appreciate anything I get. Have a great day.